First, I'm just going to address the camera in the room. It's something that a lot of people are asking for, and I think when it was brought up in the meeting I was at, there's some sort of funding issue with the cost, and if you guys will commit to using it, I'll be glad to donate it to you guys. I don't know if you're going to talk to a media person or what that is, but if you have my phone number.
Thank you.
All right. So I wanted to come here and address something that I believe is hurting our community and is a growing concern for myself as well as many of the residents. What I'm going to say is going to be respectful while critical of Councilman Cannon. And I'd appreciate if you would allow me to say what I need to say here without interruption, because I believe that is very important, and some of you may not be aware of what's been going on. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many of you are active on social media or if you have seen what's been going on in the last couple of days, weeks, or from what I'm told, even the last several years. So I do want to bring this to all of your attention. Mr. Cannon has been openly and viciously attacking numerous residents on social media with wild and unsubstantiated claims, most of which I believe that he knows to be false and defamatory. And I've experienced this personally in the past week. Over the weekend, I was the target of a public attack by Councilman Cannon, who accused me and my group, the Center Street Development Opposition, which you guys might remember, had thanked me for, of things such as selling people's private information and stealing donation money. These are serious accusations that are not true, and I believe that Mr. Cannon believes that knows that they are not true. And I'm honestly not even sure what his motivation was, but it seems to have been some sort of attempt, for some reason, to discredit me. I also want to point out that some of the language that Mr. Cannon had used in emails to residents before the no vote was the exact language that could expose the township to a lawsuit. And Mr. Mayor, I know that we had discussed this, and I'm thankful that it was corrected before public statements went out. But with the township nearly $40 million in debt, I find it highly negligent and irresponsible, especially from an experienced attorney, to repeatedly open the township to the financial risk of litigation at least twice in the last 6 months. Aside from the legal risks, there's a bigger issue here: the attacks themselves. This is a vile and unacceptable behavior that has no place in our community. We should be lifting people up, not tearing them down. Nobody here, none of us, are perfect. And we're all facing our own challenges, and we need to set a better example for our community and for our children. I believe that most of you have run for office as a public service to the community. We all know that it doesn't pay very well. I think that you wanted to make this town better for all of its residents, but allowing this kind of behavior to continue where people are intimidated into silence does not represent those aspirations. It shuts out voices that could be making a difference. I remember a time when we could all disagree about policies and decisions respectfully, where we argued based on the substance of our ideas, not by intimidating and demeaning those who we disagreed with into submission. And I would like to get back to that, and I think that most of you would agree. But I'm not just here to talk about myself. I'm here on behalf of the dozens of residents who have privately reached out to me and are too scared to come forward themselves. I've heard from several residents who have been attacked verbally, accused of crimes, had their phone numbers and addresses posted on social media, their employers have been contacted, and so on. And many of these residents have expressed to me the desire to be more involved in the community, to come to more town meetings, to bring up community concerns, and have even considered running for office or applying for jobs within the township. But they're afraid. They're afraid of the kind of retribution that we've been seeing. There are a lot of great people in this town with a lot of great ideas, and I genuinely think that most of you would want to hear from them. But those voices are being silenced by the fear and retribution created by one man that sits up there with you today. So here's what I'm asking. Let's commit to doing better, setting a higher standard for how we treat each other, how we communicate with one another, and how we represent the town. Mr. Cannon, I believe that you owe an apology. Not to me, but to those who feel that they've been silenced because they're afraid, and if you're not willing to change, then maybe it's time that you consider stepping down so that we can bring back a spirit of respect and cooperation to Aberdeen. Thank you.
those accusations. So I'm not really sure what the retribution. Well, let's unpack this for a minute. So, Mr. Bishop,
Back up there and talk about it?
yeah, let's have a conversation about that. So I appreciate you coming down in person to talk about it, and I told you that before.
I wish you had questions for me that you would have to say.
Oh, no, I have questions for you. Actually, I do. I'm glad you came down. So number one, you're accusing me, I guess, of bullying people on Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay. In these Facebook posts that you're referencing, did I use any vulgar language or call you names?
It's yeah, I think you pulled names.
Okay, I'd like to see those. And then the victims of this bullying in the last election, because clearly this is bothering you now, right? So there was an election.
Well, it's bothering me now because you personally attacked me over the weekend and accused me in every single township page that was available for maximum visibility of stealing donation money.
I never accused you of stealing. I let you talk the whole time about it. Right? So the donation money, let's get to that. Because I have some real questions about that. So it's not my question, because as you know, I voted no, and part of the reason that all of us up here voted no was to eliminate the cost to residents for a legal fight. You remember that, right? Right. Okay. And I didn't donate the $10,000 because I knew there wasn't going to be a legal fight, so I didn't donate to your cause. But a lot of residents did. And a lot of residents have asked me two questions, well, a number of questions where they're confused as to whether there's still a legal fight with the yeshiva. So your neighbors who like the money from had asked me, what's going on with the legal fight with the yeshiva? Some of them are under the mistaken impression that the township collected the money and asked me what we're doing with it. Others have asked, I'm just telling you, look, maybe I'm the first to report you. Others have asked where it went.
That's why I'm first to have bring this to my attention, so go ahead.
And then the other question that I got from a number of residents, because you know that I'm the Democratic chairman of the Democratic Party in town, so my committee members, as committee members, have donated to your effort, and they're very concerned that you shared their information with Republican political groups. And the chairman of the Aberdeen Republicans is sitting right behind you, and you sent out a bunch of text messages in April. Remember that? Inviting everyone to the meeting, town council's destroying the town, right? And you should show up and back me up. Signed Warren Bishop. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, who helped you send those?
Nobody helped me send those.
No, you have to have a special token to do that to be approved. And I checked into it, and it turns out that those text messages that you sent out to the whole town were the same text messages that sent a picture of me in handcuffs and me as a wife beater during the 2023 election. So the same people that ran the campaign against the people up here for office are the same people that sent out your text messages. And my question is, when all $10,000, I thought I could speak uninterrupted, right? I give you that courtesy. Well, the question is, you last bit of time without any notice that doesn't make any change in play. This is a little unsafe. Well, you not let me finish the point. Yeah, there's some different allegations here.
You're going to finish. You'll answer.
So those are the questions that I've been getting from constituents that generated my Facebook question to you, because people have been asking me about that, and it apparently appears, given that the chairman of the Aberdeen Republicans is sitting behind you, and Mr. Hickman, who ran the campaign last year, is sitting over there, and newly elected Republican Councilwoman Reynolds is over there, that's true, that you collected information from residents without disclosing to them that you were going to use it for political purposes. And my question to you is whether you also use the money for that. Because when we don't run for political office, and you can go online and you can look at every dollar I've collected and every dollar I've spent and who gave it to and everything else. But you can't just go out and fund me and raise funds. So the question is, are you running for office next year? Because if you are, I suggest that you look up the rules about using GoFundMe and non-disposable funds for political communications from the same people that set up the campaign last year. So those are the genesis of my questions. It's not bullying, and I didn't accuse you of stealing, because I don't think you stole the money. I put you in the face and you're on tonight. But I don't think that you're using that money.
Am I going to get a chance to respond to any of this? How many questions are you going to get?
Well, you came up and told me that I'm lying to people and asked me what I was doing.
Why don't you tone it down? Tone it down. You're attacking him now. It's on the phone. Ask the questions in the lower tone.
Well, I feel to have to talk over the microphone, so I'm sorry about that. You're right. So,
Okay, so to respond, or do you have more questions?
well, I'm going back to the Facebook post that you're talking about, where I'm bullying.
No, I'm not answering subject questions.
Then we'll get to see, let's go to that subject there, you answer the questions, then we'll talk about the Facebook post.
Okay, so what are the questions that you have? Who helped me send out the text message? So, why are a lot of people in that group, and some residents helped out in different ways. Like you would know, or I don't know, it's on your committee, right? The Democrat committee, she's made a lot of the graphics, she's helped raise a lot of money, she sat down at the desk with us, other people came forward in different ways. Somebody had sent me a list of names and phone numbers for the people in Cliffwood Beach, and said, I don't know if this would be helpful, if you want to send out a text blast, I have a service that can do that, and I said, yeah, actually, is there any way to get all the residents? And they said, yeah, but it's going to be a lot more expensive, $422. So I made a post in my Facebook group asking residents if they wanted to donate towards that purpose, to do so and to let me know, which is exactly what happened. So that's the money, and I have receipts for that, which have been posted to everybody that's actually concerned. What was the residents? Hold on. What was the residents? Who? Why? So that you can attack them too? No. So then what was the next question? What was the next question?
So the next question is, you're upset about Facebook posts that I posted to Deana Gunn, who's the president.
Okay, so that was not the next question. Now we're getting.
Well, that's the context of the election.
See, this is why I wanted to go point by point. What was the other questions that you asked? Oh, if I know rules, regulations, but no, I have no idea. This is the first time I ever did this. Do I know old people and somebody said pictures of you and handcuffs? I have no idea. You want to know why? Because I'm just a normal guy, living in my house, trying to run a business. I got a 2-year-old and a pregnant wife over here. You stressed the hell out on Saturday. Sorry, excuse my language. With those accusations, and I shouldn't have to deal with that. And I'm sitting there one day, and I open the mailbox, and I got a letter about this ridiculous ISO that you guys put forward, okay? And I said, this is ridiculous. I didn't know about this, and I started to get involved. And I've seen a lot of people in the community, I was ready to reach into my own pocket and pay my own lawyer by myself to come and fight this. And then when I seen so many people in the community that were aggravated by it, and they didn't know what to do, the neighbors were scared, and they didn't know what was going on, I said, well, why don't we all get together in my office and just talk about this? And we got there, and then one thing led to another, we had the group, and we raised the money, and we got the lawyer together with the community. That was my first involvement in politics. And you know what? I'm not forcing God. I really like what you said, Mayor Fred, about, thank you, Amy, I'm sorry. Before about being nonpartisan and being able to agree and being able to work together, that's all I'm worried about. That's all I've ever been worried about. I never wanted to get into politics. And the first person, I had over a dozen people reach out to me just to let me know to not meet with you. That you were going to lie to me, that you were going to talk me up, that you were a really smooth talker, that you're going to be called me. No, none of them. I never told any of them first. I talked to you first. And I talked to you first. And I thought we had a pleasant conversation.
Vote the way you want. Right? You convinced me as a constituent to vote the way you want. Okay? So what was wrong with that interaction?
But you know what you didn't do? You didn't help. You didn't give any advice. You didn't take any of the advice that I tried to give you. You fought me every step of the way. And now I question whether your no vote was even genuine. Because one, I got a phone call the day of the no vote trying to convince me to get everybody else on board to vote yes, which was the best thing for the town, which I haven't told anybody. But so that leads me to believe that maybe it wasn't completely genuine. But then your post and your activity, what prompted that? What prompted that?
You should have invited your neighbor, including members of my party's political commission, and you gave it to the Aberdeen Republicans without asking them.
No, I didn't.
I don't know.
No, I didn't. I just highly recommend that if you're going to keep saying that, you substantiate it. Because the first thing that I did was screenshot it and send it to the attorney. And he said he gets back from vacation on the 12th and we'll talk about it. So if you're going to keep making claims like that, I don't think you can substantiate it. Because I'll tell you what, before I collected any information, I got those lists for the text blast, and those things are all already on it. So go ahead, take me to court, seriously. Seriously, if you want to work it out that way, then we can do it that way. But this is absolutely ridiculous. I'm saying something about court. You're going to keep making these accusations in front of everybody. It's insane. But there's, you know, accuse you. You still, you know what? I'm not. Let me just say this. This is why I wasn't coming here just to speak about it. There are dozens of people
that agree with.
Are you coming out? Right now, can you hear me?
I had half a dozen people reach out to me today. Official. I had people from every facet of this local government, every facet, reach out to me privately and tell me that they cannot speak their voices, they cannot let you guys know what's going on. They see issues and they can't bring them to you because of the retribution that they're going to face from them. He's giving people's personal information out. He's disagreeing. What? The school board president. For disagreeing with what the school board president runs the town. He is running people's lives and I have three people who have said that they was not to allow to destroy it for 4 years and all that I'm asking is that I don't believe that any of you knew that this was going on before. I don't know how active you are on Facebook, but go ahead. And if anybody wants me to substantiate any of my claim, you can reach out to me privately, and I have dozens of evidence, screenshots and everything else. It's just not fair to the community. We should be encouraging people to come forward, not scaring them away. That's the only thing that I want to bring up. I did not mean for it to turn into this. I'm sure.
Okay, comments like that are the problem.
Stop. If you want to talk, you can come up and form in this meeting.
Oh, we got it.
I'm calling out myself. I want my chance. Okay?
Every single person.
Everyone who wants to say something publicly can.
Well, that's good. We appreciate that.
All right. Thank you, Mayor.
I will say this, Nick. Many people up here are pleased with what's going on.
That's what I believe, and that's why I'm here today.
I think I speak for myself all the time. I'm at a point now where I need two of you to vacate the room and go bang it out. Take up the time here. Now, your supporters, and I'm going to say that, but I think that's a fair enough word, is here for this reason. We were not here for this reason.
Yeah.
We have no idea about this reason. We might have heard about the filming, which is your prerogative. In fact, I don't think we've been filmed for close to 15 years since we put up affordable housing. I don't know since that.
No, I mean, honestly, God, if you guys want the equipment, if you use it, you guys could have it. I know that's what it
But the truth of the matter is, to sit here and to listen to more of this, and maybe many of us are beyond this, is something that has to be hashed out between the two of you and not here. I'm sorry. But if anybody would like to take the microphone, because this is where we are in the agenda, then you may come up and speak your mind.
I am one of those citizens that
Name and address.
I do not want to use my internet.
You can speak publicly.
It's fine, you can speak.
Go ahead.
Thank you. You started with saying that one of the reasons you posted on Facebook to Mark was because people reached out to you. My question to you, when Mark set up that GoFundMe page, it was very clear to everyone that donated what he was doing. He continued to communicate with everyone what was happening. There was no guesses where this money went. Even in the meetings that we came to with Mark, he mentioned that there were a lot of conversations between you two privately. So why did you feel you needed to post for those people that were questioning where the money was? Why did you feel you needed to post it publicly rather than going to Mark privately? Right.
It was in that respect,
That you need to admit that it was ill will.
I think I called him in the heat of the election, and I should have called him. I think you're right.
Yeah, and Mayor, I think you should consider that. One of your council people are attacking someone that had nothing, there was no reason to do that. And I think that's why we're all here. There was no reason for it.
Well, as I said, I respect
And
all of
for you
you.
to say for them to go outside and fight it?
No,
I mean.
I think that was her answer.
Well-
nobody, we don't think don't.
That 40 or more.
No, I'm listening to you. I'm listening. I finished my question, and I know that there's others, and I want to give them the time.
Thank you very much.
I don't have any problem saying my name. My name is Cindy Santora. I'm at 418 Lloyd Road, and I would like to tell you guys my story. I moved to Aberdeen in 2020. I went on a Facebook group, and I asked some questions. Mr. Cannon responded to me, and he did not like my answer. He then proceeded in that chat to berate me and bully me, call me a transplant, and how dare I even comment on anything to do with the town. Do you know why I am in the Aberdeen Republicans? You know why I am going to make it my job to make sure you guys are released? Because of Mr. Cannon. Thank you.
Also, not a problem for me to give you my name. You all know I've lived in the town like probably over 30 years. I don't have a problem with political views, though I will tell you this. I don't have a problem with dealing with somebody's positions on issues, but when we start to make like ad hominem attacks, that's an issue. You want to say that I ran last year's campaign or the 2023 campaign? Yes, I am an Aberdeen Council. You know, I'm a committeeman for the Republicans. That's well known. I don't hide that from anybody. But what I would say is to say that I ran it or was responsible for whatever was being talked about is not true. You can go look at the stuff. I'm not there as the campaign manager. Now, my issue with Mr. Cannon is that he brought my name into this. I wasn't involved in this conversation at all. And what I feel is really wrong is that it was a great thing that happened tonight. The school board, and you had the color guard and the people that were doing, the band. But I wonder how those parents would feel if they knew that one of your colleagues was bashing sitting board members and board people that are running for office. And I'm not talking about being against them on the issues, that's one thing. But I can only talk about myself here. So for me, on a post that was made, I was basically accused of being on the board and eliminating all of the custodians when I wasn't even on the Board of Education at that time. I was accused of taking away the citizens' rights to vote on the budget, when if you go back and you look at the minutes, you'll find that it was me and one other board member that decided that we're not for putting the budget and the school board election out of April, which is where it used to be. And my reasoning for that is just like this with government. You give up your right to government, you're not getting it back. People used to have a right to have a plebiscite on this school budget. That disappeared. Could be gotten back, but not easy. So this is what you said, Mr. Mayor, is right. I mean, we know that there's always partisan politics involved, but when it comes down to attacking people, that's a different thing. Anybody that knows me knows that when I was on the school board, I was never disrespectful to people. As a matter of fact, I got off the board in 2018. I think the last term I was elected, Mr. Cannon was actually there and was with the board president at the time, and actually said that, I always behaved and did things in the right manner to help kids. So I just find this very, unseemly, and it shouldn't be that way. And maybe this is where politics has gotten in the country, but I respect, people's families and what they do. I never bring them into that, and I'm fine with having an argument about the issues or how I think things can be done in the town that aren't being done here, or maybe I have a disagreement with how money is being spent. That's different. That's not a personal attack on you. One of the things in that post is there's a man that was running for office. He's a combat injured veteran, and he was basically supposedly, attacked, and I get that. He is running for office, but, it's just unfortunate that it's come to being making it such a personal thing. Now, I know the rest of you many years, so all I can tell you is that, this has to stop. I want to hear that whether or not you agree with this kind of stuff. Because my name was brought into this, just completely there. Am I involved in the Republicans? Everybody knows. But I wasn't even involved in this conversation. And then suddenly my name is brought into it as if I'm like, I'm somehow the mastermind of all of this stuff. And everybody does what I tell them to do. I mean, if you accord me that much power, I probably should have been elected here a long time ago. So, that's all I have to say.
Good evening, my name is Diana Pell, I live at 17 Applestone Lane, and first I would like to apologize for my outburst earlier. That was out of order, and I just get really hot when I'm thinking about this, frankly. I'm speaking as a town resident and not my role as school board president. I'm a homeowner, a mom, a volunteer, and a taxpayer. Aberdeen is my home. I don't think it'll come as much of a surprise to people here, but I've had a few negative experiences, highly unprofessional, with Mr. Greg Cannon over the years, especially this past year. I just ran in a nonpartisan campaign for school board, and the entire campaign season, I never posted or publicly said anything negative about the other candidates. None of the school board candidates did. Mr. Matawan, Mrs. Kirchner, myself, and Mr. Dyer never engaged in negative speech about each other. Mr. Cannon did. 3 weeks ago, I'm sorry, you spoke really negatively about me many times, and that's all right.
I do not support you for election, yes.
I know, no shit. 3 weeks ago, in response to my positive social media post providing information about our campaign, Mr. Cannon said that I was a member of an Old Bridge Moms for Liberty group. But then it turned out that that group didn't exist. After that, he said the board members, myself included, attended Moms for Liberty rallies in Marlborough and that he had photos. When I asked him to produce a photo of me in it, he backed off and said it was just the other board members. But one by one, they also said they'd never been to such a rally, and we still haven't seen any photos from Mr. Cannon showing otherwise. Over the subsequent weeks, he has said that I use people, I manipulate people, that I'm against school staff, that I'm anti-union, that I'm not smart enough to read election law, and ridicule the way that I speak. By November 3rd, the comments had become so caustic that many were taken down by the page's moderators. Last spring, during our school budget hearings, he took to the Strathmore PTO school social media page to say that I was anti-parent because I declined to plan a referendum to raise taxes, even though he knew that the board's attorney advised us that such a referendum is not possible in our case. The aggressive behavior isn't limited to social media. When I first joined the board, Mr. Cannon told me that no one who has lived here less than 20 years should serve in local government. He told me that I'm not permitted to speak during a town council meeting without checking with him first. That is not a lie, and those of you that were in the meeting when he repeated it, that across the Rubicon, know sure as hell that it is not a lie. Unlike common practice on the school board, Mr. Cannon never makes clear whether he is speaking for himself, Aberdeen Forward, or the town council. It all seems mixed together. I'd like to know if Mr. Cannon speaks for you as he continues to attack and demean me. A number of my friends and I reached out to multiple members of council for help and did not receive any as far as we know. How do you see us moving forward? This just isn't how I roll, and it's a crap way to lead a community. Thank you very much for listening.
Why don't you tell them?
First of all, I don't use social media for anything but to look at my grandchildren. I was unaware of what was happening until a board member did point out to me that if I didn't control Mr. Cannon, my husband would pay the price. And he did.
Wow.
I don't look at the social media, but boy, people send screenshots to me about my husband sleeping at meetings, and you know my husband. He's a kind, generous man. He's very polite at board meetings. He lets you speak. If he has questions, he asks them. He sends out emails. He talks to people. He doesn't want to embarrass administrators. He doesn't send emails to you, but he does speak to other board members. I even heard him speak to you, so I've heard him on the telephone speak to you. So you can't say that he's never spoken to you in all the years that you've been there.
Did you ever see me say anything?
No, I didn't. But what I'm telling you, you said that board members tried to reach out to several council members, and I'm one of them. And someone did reach out to me.
I said my friends.
No, you did not.
I said my friends. I said right here.
No, I don't care what you wrote. You said other board members. Listen, I wasn't going to speak tonight, and I don't have to speak for my husband. I really don't. But I really was hurt, and so was he, by what transpired.
Some people spout off. I didn't say that.
Well, but do you think it's okay for your people to spout off?
You spouted off directly. I wasn't like to hear other people spout off. He spouted off.
Did I call you names?
Yes. Yes, you called me an extremist. You called me an extremist.
An extremist?
Yes.
I believe that you were up to extremely restart children's education.
Well, you're out of your mind.
That's why I just support you for election.
You're out of your mind. You don't have to support me. You don't need to support me.
Where's your photo, Greg? Where's your photo of her as long as Liberty?
Next, please.
Well, thank you, sir. I don't need to do back and forth.
My name is Abby Bird. I grew up on 110 Jericho Lane. My parents bought their house here in 1973. They built one of the synagogues in town in the 80s. Okay, they're directly responsible for that, bringing an Orthodox synagogue to this town. I moved out of my house in 2019 because as a single mom who got her in a business in town, I could not afford to pay my taxes anymore. And now I live in Matawan. Okay, I've been voting in Aberdeen, mostly Democratic, until recently. So that's one thing. I'm the one who said things about certain people on the board because unlike anyone I see on this sitting board, I go to the meetings. I go with Cindy to probably more meetings than most people in town. And it is upsetting when you see 90% of the people on the board talking to Ms. Matawan, and we have one person who doesn't make a motion. He's not on any committees, doesn't say anything, ever, okay? That was upsetting. Another thing I want to say here is this. It is illegal for a public page that is a political page to block members of the community. And I think that you actually look into that because Aberdeen Forward pages block people. Myself included. Thank you. After people did not like what I had to say.
Okay. Your facts are wrong. He is on committees. He came to the school board as a 30-year employee. His strength, his facilities. He's been on facilities committees. He's been on other committees.
I haven't heard him say a word in the last 3 years. Not a motion, not a second, nothing. I go to the meetings. I'm there. I'm not saying he's not a bad person. I don't know him personally. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know him personally. I'm there for my kids, okay? I can't live in my house that I grew up in because the taxes are so freaking high in this town that I'm living in a living room. I have to have a bed in a living room in a 2-bedroom apartment that I constantly call the board of help about because it's falling apart and no one does anything. Not in Aberdeen, not in Matawan. So you know what? When I see people on the board of ed who are just sitting there and not contributing, not even sending a motion, it's upsetting. You need new blood. You need new people, okay? It's not personal. Because if he can talk the way he wants to talk and not be personal, then I can say what I want to say and not be personal. I care about my kids. I care about the fact that I spent every penny I've had in my life in this town, and in 3 or 4 years from my kids graduate, I have to leave. I can't live here. I can't afford here. My parents helped build this town. And we are being pushed out. And it's Aberdeen. Okay, I can't pay how can I not pay my taxes? My parents bought that house for $40,000. I have the tax sale. I have the bills. I have all of the original paperwork. And I can't even live in a bedroom. I can't even afford a bedroom. I have $3,300 a month in my budget to pay for a 3-bedroom, and I can't find one here. But yes, let's keep on building massive buildings and give them tax rebates. Maybe I should move into a new town so that you guys can I don't have to pay taxes on my rent anymore. It's insane. My rent went up $150 and I got mold in my apartment. And not one person in Aberdeen or Matawan care. And it's enough. It's enough. And you have someone out online screaming and yelling. Please, I've known so many people on this council for years. I can still tell Miss Kelly, I know she don't like grapes in her salad, in her fruit salad. Why? Because I was a waitress in this town for years. Okay? I lived here, I did everything I could to keep my kids here. And for what? For what? So I can live on the couch and my kids can't even barely afford anything? It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Who cares? It's embarrassing.
Anyone else like to come up to the microphone? I'm gonna have to say something. I have, Ms. Pell and I think have a decent relationship.